Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So will Manchester United win a trophy this season? Well, I'm hoping that we can win a trophy. I think we've got a good chance of winning the Carabao Cup because we are into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup and we do play Everton, which is obviously going to be a tough game. I think there's also a good chance that we could win the FA Cup. But I don't see us winning the Champions League. But on the other hand, I think we'll get to the knockout stages of the Champions League. And we won't win the Premier League because we're not good enough yet to win the Premier League. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Now, we've not yet won a trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager for almost 2 years. We haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. The last time we won a trophy was back under the Jose Mourinho era, when we won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season at the club. So there you go. But we've only won 4 trophies since Alex Ferguson retired, haven't we? Now, I'm going to give you the list of players that Manchester United could sign next year. Now, there is obviously a lot of players on our agenda. So, Jadon Sancho, he's one player that we could sign next year. Jadon Sancho was our number one priority target during the summer transfer window. The main explanation why we didn't get him is because Dortmund wanted £108 million and we was not willing to meet their £108 million asking price. But I think a few times during the summer transfer window, it said that Sancho wanted to come to Man United. It was saying like we'd agreed the personal terms and the agent fees, but we just couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. It also mentioned that he agreed the contract. But Michael Zorg and Lucien Favre said during the summer transfer window that Sancho would stay at Borussia Dortmund. Quite a few times during the summer transfer window, Fabrizio Romano was talking about the Sancho saga a lot. Christian Falk also spoken about it quite a few times. Didn't he? Sancho's enjoyed a poor start to this season with Borussia Dortmund, so they may not demand £108 million next year. Now, another player we could sign next year, and that's Erling Haaland. Also to Real Madrid want Erling Haaland, don't they? Now, we missed out on Erling Haaland back in January. And I said it was a shame because I said he would have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's type of signing because Solskjaer knows Erling Haaland really, really well because Solskjaer worked with him at Molde and Solskjaer gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16. And back in December, Solskjaer and Ed Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland. Now, Erling Haaland has got a release clause of around £68 million, but that doesn't become active until the summer of 2022. Dortmund only paid £17 million for him from Molde, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Hasn't he? So yeah, he's another one. Another player that we could get next year, and that is Jack Grealish. Now, it's recently said that we've revived our interest in Jack Grealish. We was in for Jack Grealish during the summer transfer window, but the main explanation why we didn't get him is because Villa wanted £80 million. we was not willing to meet their £80 million asking price. Don't forget Jack Grealish, earlier on the season, he signed a 5-year contract with Aston Villa. Up until this point, he spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa as Jack Grealish. He can play as an attacking mid and he can play as a winner. He obviously plays now on that left-hand side. If we do get rid of Pogba, then I think we'll be able to fit him in our 11 somewhere. Another reason why we didn't get him in the summer, because we had concerns where he would fit in the team. He's around 25, he's Jack Grealish, isn't he? Now, another player we could possibly sign, and that is David Carmo. He currently plays for Braga, and I've been talking with you a lot about him recently. David Carmo is only 21. He only broke into Braga's first team in January. Since then, he's made around 23 appearances, and he has got a contract with Braga until 2025. He's recently been suspended, so he hasn't played in Braga's last couple of games. I think there's up to 10 clubs that are interested in him. It said during the summer that Roma and Fiorentina were interested in David Carmo from Braga. But Solskjaer's in search for a left-footed centre-half. You know, Ousmane Dembele, he's been another player on our agenda. It said a few weeks ago that, we're going to go in for him in January, and Ousmane Dembele could be available for around £45 million. But said we wanted to get him on loan with obviously the obligation to buy, but Barcelona prefer a straight purchase. My only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he's injury prone. He sustained too many injuries at Barca, but Barca got him in a deal worth £135 million from Dortmund back in 2017. Ousmane Dembele has got a contract with Barcelona till 2022. We've basically been seeing him as an alternative to Sancho. So they are some of the players Man United could sign next year. There's also a lot of other players that we've obviously been in for. I think in reality, Man United need around 5 signings to win the Premier League title. I think we need at least 2 if we are to compete for the title. I don't really think we need new signings though. We don't need more signings, at the club. I think there's obviously more players at the club we've got to get rid of because there is still deadwood at Manchester United. I think we also need a new board because we have been critical of our board for several years. And obviously the board haven't backed any of our managers since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So they didn't back Moyes, they didn't back Van Gaal, they didn't back Mourinho. And obviously they haven't backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think we also need a new manager because I don't see us winning the Premier League title under Ole. So a lot of changes needed at the football club. A lot of changes needed. Now, I've already gone through with you what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should do at Manchester United to make Man United more consistent. And I think he needs to pick the right formation. He needs to identify his best players. He's obviously got to start Donny van der Beek. I think he's got to start Edinson Cavani and he's got to drop Anthony Martial. Obviously, he needs to keep Paul Pogba out of the team. There's a lot of United fans saying, start McTominay over Paul Pogba. So, there you go. You already know the news in regards to Paul Pogba, don't you? I give you the news on Paul Pogba yesterday night, and I give you the news on him this morning. Paul Pogba has recently spoken about his Man United struggles this season. And he said it's the most difficult period in his career. And he says playing for France is a breath of fresh air. Paul Pogba is unhappy at Manchester United because he has lost his place in the team, because he's only started 2 of our last 7 games. Now, Pogba has received a lot of criticism in recent weeks, and that recently Frank Leboeuf has criticised Paul Pogba, reflecting on his recent comments. Not so long ago, Jamie Carragher criticised him. Also, too, Dion Dublin criticised him a few weeks ago. Roy Keane said he's not good enough for Manchester United. Didier Deschamps, who is the France manager, he's been talking a hell of a lot about Paul Pogba recently, saying that he's mentally impacted by his struggles at Man United. And he said the other week he cannot be happy at Manchester United for being left on the bench and for playing out of position. And he said he basically wants to hold talks with Paul Pogba over his situation at Old Trafford. Now, will Paul Pogba leave in January or will he leave next summer? It's more likely to be next summer than in January. But where will he go? Now, obviously, he's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. Earlier on this season, Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. And last year he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, wasn't he? And he said he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. I heard one story saying that Real Madrid could offer Federico Valverde in a swap deal for Paul Pogba. There's been rumours of him going back to Juventus, because don't forget Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. PSG and Barcelona have been in for him before, and swap deals at one point were high on the agenda because Madrid willing to sacrifice a few of their players to try and get Pogba. So too with Juventus, and at one point PSG were willing to do that. What weren't there? Now, don't forget earlier on in the season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Paul Pogba's contract. Pogba was unhappy when we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. So Pogba is under contract with the football club until June 2022. I'll just go turn my light on. See, it's getting a bit dark. Yeah, until June 2022, isn't it? It said not so long ago that we'd lowered our asking price for Pogba to just £53 million. So that's £36 million less than what we paid for him. Now, there has been no talks over getting him a long-term contract at the football club. You know, this is Paul Pogba's 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. He sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. You know, last season, you know, he was out with that ankle injury. He's made over 100 appearances for Man United in all competitions since he rejoined. And he's won 3 trophies at the football club: the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. He's our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. Not only that, he's one of the highest paid players at the club because he's on 290 grand a week. So there's been a lot going on with Paul Pogba recently. And Solskjaer's got to solve the Paul Pogba issue. We're also having issues with Mason Greenwood as well, like he updated you on one of my recent videos. You know, we fear Mason Greenwood could throw his career away like Ravel Morrison. And Eddie Boothroyd, who is the England's under-21 manager, he recently confirmed why Mason Greenwood was left out of England's under-21 squad. And that's because of injuries and personal issues. He was also withdrawn from the England squad earlier on in the season with Phil Foden, and I think that was for breaking COVID-19 rules. Something like that. Mason Greenwood, though, scored in our 5-0 win against RB Leipzig, didn't he? That was his first goal in the Champions League for Manchester United. Still the foreseeable future for the club. We give Mason Greenwood the number 11 shirt at the start of the season. Mason Greenwood's got a contract with us until 2023. But I just think that he's not getting enough sleep and that, and the other week Bruno Fernandes was frustrated with him, reflecting on his poor training session. Didn't play any part in the Everton game. Solskjaer said he was out with illness, but I don't think that was true, to be honest with you. But apparently he's had a few niggles and injuries anyway. You already know the news on Alex Telles. Globo Esporte recently said that Alex Telles has tested positive for COVID-19 again. That means he'll miss the game against West Brom on Saturday. Telles has already had COVID once. Alex Telles, I think, is going to be a very good signing for Man United. He's only played one game for the club so far, and that was PSG, and did very, very well. We paid €15 million for Telles with add-ons included, and he signed a 4-year contract with the football club, didn't he? Now, we've enjoyed a poor start to this season because we are sitting 14th in the Premier League, and we have registered just 10 points from our opening 7 games in the Premier League. And we've not yet won at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season, and it's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. And Ole Solskjaer is under pressure at the football club. Some pressure eased off him, reflecting on that 3-1 win against Everton. If we hadn't have beaten Everton, then I think he would have been sacked. As a Manchester United manager, definitely. But we've had some good results this season, and we've also had some poor results. The good results came against PSG and Leipzig and Everton. But the bad results came against Palace, Tottenham, Arsenal and Istanbul Başakşehir. Now, if we can win our next 5 or 6 games after this international break, then more and more pressure will ease off Ole. Solskjaer's definitely set to stay for this present time. Ed Woodward's obviously come out this week, and he said that Manchester United remain absolutely committed to Solskjaer despite our poor start to the season. So reflect on what Woodward said. I don't think Pochettino's now coming to Manchester United because Pochettino said he will not wait. Pochettino has been the favourite to take over at the football club. Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Man United after Mourinho had got sacked. But there's a few clubs that are in for Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino said on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago that he's missing football and he's ready for the return to management because he's been managerless now for like a year. Ferdinand said the other week that Man United have had no conversations with Pochettino over replacing Solskjaer, and he was frustrated with the disrespect that was shown to Ole. This is what Rio Ferdinand had said. And it really says that Pochettino's been watching Man United and Man City and Chelsea and that. I think he's a better manager than Ole Pochettino, like I've said before, but to be honest with you, it wouldn't really solve a lot if we did sack Ole because, not all of the blame stems from him, does it? Reflecting on our inconsistency. There's still some players that have got to take responsibility. The board have got to take a lot of responsibility as well. We've also been looking at Massimiliano Allegri and Julian Nagelsmann as alternatives to Mauricio Pochettino. Now, I think the only reason Solskjaer is Manchester United manager now because he's a club legend, and reflecting on that, the board have softened their stance. Disregarding being a club legend, I think he would have been sacked by now. I really, really do. Honestly. But I said Ollie deserves more backing at the football club because obviously he hasn't been backed enough. You know, Solskjaer is into his second full season as Manchester United manager. He's been at the club almost 2 years, like I've said. He's got a contract with the club until 2022. So if Man United could finish in the top 4 this season, and if we could win a trophy, that would really represent a good season for us, and then that would give us something to build on. It really, really would. And, you know, Solskjaer's inheriting, you know, a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era. Still players here from the Van Gaal era, a few. Only one player here from the Moyes era, and there's a couple of players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Solskjaer, when he first came in, was inheriting a lot of deadwood, and he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood, to be fair, but he's still inheriting some deadwood now at the football club, isn't there? You know what I mean? But I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United as a manager. As a player, he was exceptional. As a manager, I don't think he's good enough because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. You know, Manchester United is the third club in his managerial career. And before he was at Man United, he was at Molde. You know, he won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. He got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, did Ollie Solskjaer. Didn't he? Now, we have got West Brom after this international break. That's a game Man United should be winning. After West Brom, it's Istanbul Besiktas. After that, it's Southampton, and Southampton's going to be a very, very tough game. But our home form is definitely a worry. It really, really is. Away from home, we've been much better than we have been at home, to be honest with you. When we lost to Istanbul Besiktas, that was our first defeat away from home since January, wasn't it? In all competitions. Now, these players at Manchester United that I would keep. There's a lot of players, in fact, at Man United that I would keep, and we'll probably keep them anyway. You know, we'll definitely keep Marcus Rashford. Rashford's really, really improved as a Manchester United player. He's done well under the Solskjaer era. I think Rashford's finishing's improved. I think he gets good runs in behind. He scores goals. And I think he's more effective out wide than he is centrally. Rashford got an assist against Everton. He was unlucky not to score against Everton. He was quite poor against Arsenal and Besiktas, but prior to that he's done well this season. Scored a hat-trick against RB Leipzig. Also scored the late winner in Paris, and he scored a few goals in the league this season. Rashford's just recently turned 23, not so long ago. And he's been at United since the age of 7, so he's been with us now a good 15 years or so. And he's been in our senior squad since like 2016 as Marcus Rashford. Now, Anthony Martial, I think we'll keep him, despite the fact that he hasn't had a good start to this season. Martial did have a 3-match suspension in the league, didn't he? Because he got sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Shouldn't have been sent off, but he was. But anyway, he served his 3-game suspension now as Anthony Martial. A lot of United fans saying that he needs to be dropped and we need to start Edinson Cavani ahead of Anthony Martial. Cavani recently scored his first goal for the football club in our 3-1 win against Everton. And he almost scored with his first touch when he came on against Chelsea. But Martial, though, was very good last season under Ollie, and he was good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. So he's enjoyed a good 5 years or so now at the club. Now, Mason Greenwood, like I said earlier on, he's having a few issues, but we'll obviously still keep him at the football club. We'll definitely keep Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. He's the foreseeable future for the club. Bruno Fernandes is our best player. Fernandes has endured around 9 months with Manchester United. Scored quite a lot of goals. You know, the vast majority of his goals have come from the penalty spot. Bruno Fernandes is. Don't forget, he's recently said that Manchester United have the mentality to win the Premier League title. Fernandes said it's been too long now since we last won it, and you know we haven't won it for 8 years. And he says he came to Manchester to win trophies. Bruno Fernandes. Not so long ago, he was talking about Paul Pogba. He's been unhappy with Ole a few times. Last season, Bruno Fernandes won Premier League Player of the Month a couple of times, and he won some Matt Busby Player of the Year award. Bruno Fernandes scored twice in our 3-1 win against Everton, and he also got an assist. We paid £47 million for him from Sporting Lisbon back in January. Donny van de Beek will obviously keep him. And I've been impressed with him in the games he has played in, but he's obviously not really played for Man United so far. He has started our last 2 games in the Champions League, but he's not yet made his full Premier League debut for the club. We need to start him because he's a good player. You know, Donny van de Beek recently revealed that Solskjaer told him to wait and be patient for these opportunities. Donny van de Beek said he would have loved to have played more though at Manchester United this season. We paid £40 million for him from Ajax. And you know what I mean? So we paid quite a bit of money for him. I think Solskjaer's been trying to figure out his best position because he can play in like 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder, which I think is his predominant position. You can put him in the number 10. We started him in number 10 against Leipzig. And you can put him on that right-hand side, Donny van de Beek. Fred, we'll also keep him for at least this season. Fred has really impressed me this season. You know, the way that he's performed and that. I like the way he's dictated the play. He's kept the ball well. He showed good attacking intent. You know, Fred's been at the club now a few years. We paid big money for him. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk, and Fred's got a contract with the club until 2023. He was an exceptional player when he was in Ukraine with Shakhtar Donetsk. McTominay, I think we'll also keep him. He's had some bad games as a Man United player. I don't think he's as good as Fred from my own perception. But like I said, I'd still start McTominay over Pogba. Was it just after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United, and he has been part of the club for several years, hasn't he? Luke Shaw, will also keep him. The negativity now regarding Luke Shaw is that he's got a hamstring injury and he's out for up to a month. He's too injury prone, is Luke Shaw. He's done well in his last couple of games. In his last 2 games, got 2 assists. Obviously, we'll keep Alex Telles. We'll definitely keep Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire has really rejuvenated himself, to be fair. Because he did have early season troubles, because he did have that incident in Greece. He also had a few knocks. He got sent off in one of England's games. Harry Maguire is our current captain. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. Now, I think we'll keep Victor Lindelof for at least this season. I've still got element of concerns about Victor Lindelof, to be honest with you, because he's nowhere near on the same level as Harry Maguire. So I think, like, this is why I said, you know, we need a centre-half. Victor Lindelof's endured a good 3 years or so at Manchester United, hasn't he? We paid £31 million for him from Benfica back in 2017. Tuan Zebe will also keep him. I've given you a bit of a perception on Tuanzebe, haven't I? But not much of a perception. He was very, very good against PSG, was Axel Tuanzebe, and that was his first start for the club in 10 months. Wan-Bissaka will keep him. I think he's also really, really rejuvenated himself as Wan-Bissaka. In the games he's played well in this season, he's showed good attacking intent, and his defensive contributions also been very, very good. De Gea will keep him for at least this season. Said David De Gea will remain our number one this season, and he really, really has rejuvenated himself because he's made a lot of good saves as David De Gea, hasn't he? So there's a lot of players, that Manchester United will keep. I think the players we're going to be selling next year is Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Daniel James, because obviously he's out of form, Paul Pogba, Nemanja Matic. I think he could be sold next year because he's lost his place in the team. Juan Mata could also be sold, even though he's impressed me in a lot of the games he's played in this season. But Juan Mata has now lost that yard of pace. Sergio Romero doesn't really have a future at the club. I think he could go next year. There again, it all depends on what happens with Dean Henderson, because there was rumours the other week about Dean Henderson going out on loan. Brandon Williams, could we loan him out to gain him more experience? Brandon Williams, don't forget now, is our third choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles. Ighalo, he'll go in January when his loan expires with a football club. Ighalo doesn't even get in the team now, does he? So yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.